of having been partially devoured by their murderers.
Good evening. My name is Helix, and tonight I will be your raconteur of despair. Welcome to the grind. It's a funny thing when we want to accomplish our goals. There is a similar saying, if you want to get to where you want to be, you have to change who you are. Tonight's story runs along the same vein. However, to get to where you want to be, you need to survive who you were. And hopefully, through the darkest parts of ourselves, we can find a better version of ourselves. Because the alternative means the monster inside us actually wins. All right. The scene we are going to start with tonight is both in the past and in the present. However, sure, the future will affect the present. We begin our scene with Eve.
Hello.
Eve, you first recall in a state of deep slumber, darkness. Now, this darkness, it's the kind that makes you forget who you are. It disconnects you from the world. You lose all sense of time. You lose all sense of self. There is only peace. And you are not aware who you are. Flashes come back. Flashes of a woman with a knife and a skull overlaid through her face with large bone horns and a smile. As she carves into your flesh, you remember feeling the pain. You remember the smile. You remember your bones cracking as she snaps them open, pulls apart your chest. You remember a very large howling wind in some abandoned, run-down building. A wind that sounds like the world was ripping away. And then a thought creeps in to your mind. I agreed to this. I asked for this. This is what I needed to do. I'm supposed to be here. And then all fades to black as you lose your ability to breathe when your lungs are punctured and deflate. The pain soon fades away. And you return to this darkness. Now within this darkness, you have a sense of consciousness. However, you have no feeling of physical self. When you begin to think, what are your first thoughts?
What am I? Why am I? Why did I agree to this? It was important. I want to remember. I want to try and remember.
Okay. You will need to roll.
Okay. Which one?
First one.
Okay. And my identity?
It's actually not an identity.
Oh,
You-
okay. What would you like me to roll?
This is a knowledge.
Okay. 54 versus 40.
As you begin to think, you feel something solidify of your being. It's not solid. It's like shadow almost. But you can move your own hands through what would be your body. There is no light here. However, as you reach out into this expanse for answers, you become keenly aware you're not alone.
Who's with me?
You don't know. It's like something's moving all around you. It's like the place you are in is alive. And then all of a sudden you do feel it. You feel the physical form of this place. And it's terrifying. It's imposing because it feels like it could swallow you up, or maybe it already has.
I want to try and run and get out of it. I want to try and claw my way, cut my way, dig my way, whatever I have to do to get out of it.
Okay. You reach out to touch this place. You instinctively move and you go to it. And it feels like a membrane, and your hands press through it like you are not physical, but somewhat physical. Like you have tangibility, but only minuscule. And then the place pulses with different colored lights. And you become keenly aware of how vast this place is. And it is moving all around you. And it becomes alive and undulates and seems to be aware of your presence. However, it moves past you. You are moving through it. You were not aware that you were moving at all. However, you are traveling forward. It looks like a membrane moving and stretching, like muscle fibers that are luminescent.
Does there appear to be a path or a hallway or a branch?
You are moving through what could loosely be considered a tunnel. However, it's more of just a clear direction, unobstructed by this dense, fibrous membrane. And everything about this place feels wrong and dangerous. You feel like you don't belong here, and you feel like you won't survive here.
I want to try and find somewhere I will survive. Some place, someone.
Roll your identity.
Come on, roll 20. I knew it was going to do it twice. The first one was 49 versus 50. And then it re-rolled me for whatever reason.
How do you reach out?
I don't want to risk separating what little essence I am in this massive void of something. So I want to instead try and concentrate as much of myself as I can, as small as I can, and move forward, whatever direction feels like forward, as hard as possible.
As you're moving forward with your mind, you do pick up speed. And you hear echoes, screams. They sound like yourself. You hear laughter. You think you're being laughed at. Each voice you hear multiplies by 1,000 as it travels. And then you see one of the membranes just reach out and stretch in front of your path, and you pass through it. As you pass through it, you feel pain more intense than what you could ever know. But it's not a physical pain. It's a pain like acid that erodes away your very existence. As you pass through it, you are assaulted by rapid images of a different life. And you pass through it. You feel less of who you are when you come out the other side. You feel weakened. But something interesting you learn is this connected to a different you? What do you wish to do?
I want to continue to push forward.
As you push forward, you do move faster. The membrane itself seems keenly aware of your presence now. It begins to close in around you, like it's trying to find you. As the light flashes around you, the reds, the greens, purples, they form these twisted images that just pass over. You see your face like different hair, different clothes, different life. Eve, it dawns on you that this is all the possibilities of who you are. And with the light, you see a form of yourself. Your hands, they are eroded shadow, almost skeletal. You begin to feel your hands. Your hands can pass through each other. However, as you do this, you're reminded of the gnarled bone that your hands felt like. That's all that sticks to your memory. You remember what that felt like. And then you feel the pain of your veins and muscles kind of seeping back into themselves and growing. Feel yourself solidify just a little bit more. Somewhere in the abyss, you hear a voice. It's not yours. It echoes. I told you, Iwa. You need to try harder.
Do I recognize it?
Yes.
Can I tell where it's coming from?
Roll your identity.
Which one? Original?
Yes.
Okay.
You're
20 versus 50.
It's coming from within the fibers themselves.
I want to try as hard as I possibly can.
Do what?
Become me again.
It is in that moment you realize you are gone. You died.
How?
those memories come back. You remember the conversation. You remember finding a certain someone with a demon. You remember why you're here. You know you have a purpose. Off in the distance, though, you can pinpoint where that voice came from. It seems to be localized within this fallacy of a structure.
Can I go to it?
Yes. You make your way
I
to it.
want to try to.
You see very interesting flash of images of yourself talking to the Cinder Man.
What are we talking about?
You can't quite make it out, but they don't seem to be fighting. Eve does seem angry, but it's more of a conversation.
Is there any way I can try and get closer?
If you want to get closer, you'll have to go inside.
I want to go inside.
Roll.
$13.
As your bones feel sharp, your tendrils of muscle wrap around them, and your arms begin to solidify. You carve your way into this membrane that feels like electric acid, and you plunge your way inside. Now, what happens next feels like a new beginning, but it feels like nothing at all. Because you are back in darkness. However, this place feels empty, but not. It feels like there is only one other entity here. What do you wish to do?
Do I recognize the other entity?
Roll.
$88 versus 50.
Feels alien.
Could I utilize my obsession?
What is your obsession?
Learning and gaining more power.
Hmm. Yes, this would qualify.
Okay. Can I re-roll with that?
Yes.
64 versus 50.
What seems like alien to you becomes familiar as you find that thin thread of hate. And it pulls you to another entity. And as you creep along this vast expanse, it's almost like a light, not a bright one, just seems to surround and focus on this entity. And as you get closer, you emerge from the shadow to see yourself. Standing there, looking around in the darkness.
Do I realize what I need to do?
You can either roll your identity or knowledge.
$88 over 50.
You are connected to this entity. However, they are aware of you. And you see just a thin red line, just a little tiny thin thread connected between you and her.
I follow the line.
You are right up on this other version of yourself. You get any closer, you will step into the light and they will see you. They have different hair, different clothing, a couple different tattoos. They're standing next to a bed in this empty, they look nervous.
I want to try and utilize that and just pounce. See if I can take control.
Okay. Are you telling me you wish to enter combat? that a yes?
Yes.
Very well. You are hidden. You can make the first attack. How do you wish to do this?
I want to, can I see if, from my hidden status, if she has the knife I normally carry hidden on her?
That is your action. You can make a notice check.
$52 versus 50.
You have a shift. That is a success. Yes. Where would this knife be?
Right
And what
thigh.
would it look like?
It's a black karambit. It's a curved blade that flicks open, and it's usually attached to her inner right thigh.
You see it.
I want to go for it, and while I'm there, try and cut the main artery under her thigh.
That was your action, was to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Her action is to spot you. Or, well, she spots you as you plunge forward. She will make a defense roll. I need you to roll. Roll me in percentile.
Okay. 1d100.
Yes.
Nine.
You have a chance to react as she sees you, snaps your fingers, and you are assaulted with just a corrosion of who you are, and you feel parts of your body disintegrate. You're ethereal.
I don't need my body if I can have hers. I want to try and take it from her.
Okay. Now begins the gridiron. How do you wish to enter?
On the offensive?
Okay. So, with violence.
Yes.
You need to roll violence.
Okay. Why can I not find
Bottom left.
bottom
It
left?
should be struggle.
Oh my god, yes. 23 versus 55.
Okay. Your second. Tell me about a memory of horrible violence that
My
this
second?
this new version of Eve has endured.
She remembers being taken when she was on her college campus, leaving a biology lab late one night, being taken somewhere, and she didn't know how long it kept going or how long all of the torture continued. But she does not speak of it now, and will say it made her who she is in more ways than one.
You are reliving this moment. Describe it to us.
Their hands all over her skin. She doesn't know how many people. There's a bag on her head. It's black. There's some kind of transportation. She's locked in there for who knows how long. And she can hear grinding, churning machines, rocks breaking, guns, people moving in step formation like they're military trained. And then when the bag is off of her head, she's in a basement and handcuffed to a metal chair. It has Volt hooked up to the chair, and there's someone sitting beside her with a handle to flick. Someone off in the distance hammering something. Someone else talking on a cell phone. Someone else writing notes. Someone else with a knife. Someone else over there going through a variety of other tools. And the first thing she starts to try and do is scream. But then she can't control her body.
Do you want to get out of this?
Yes.
Full percentile. Actually, you need to roll your defense against violence. So
That would be fitness?
Yes.
Okay. 56 versus 50. Would this play into her fear, my fear? Being unable to control my movement or location. They share that.
Is this, okay, they share that. Yes.
Okay, we'll get one reroll then. 21 versus 50.
Tell us how you escape, get out of this situation.
It ended in blood. Hers and a lot of those who were there. He wasn't there at the time. But she woke up there one day after who knows how many. And she learned how to use her hate And she did.
That is the moment you feel your soul grow teeth and repel this shadow out of you. And the original you moves back. Now, what does the second version of you wish to do? As you now see this husk, corpse-like wraith of what you might have been.
It kind of disgusts me, and I want to destroy it.
How do you wish to do this?
Was it able to get my knife?
No.
I'd like to take my knife out and attack.
Okay. Roll.
My identity, or because I don't have a
Okay.
knife identity any longer. Okay. $65 versus $50.
This swipe you take. It's a fail. What do you wish to do? How does this play out?
I would take out my knife. It's where it always is. And it feels like this thing, this other me, this failed wraith version of me knows that. And it almost beats me there, and we struggle for it. And I'm able to get the knife in my hands, but when I go to stab at it, it's out of the way before I manage to connect.
Okay. And the wraith, what do they wish to do?
I want to attack mentally. I want to try and am I still able to form into like a tight corporeal ball?
What do you mean?
Or like form my essence? You said that I had gnarled bones and muscle sinew starting to grow. Is that my form right now, or can I still? I still that misty essence?
It's both.
Both.
It's a combination of both. It's a very weird, wrong thing, but it is both. What do you wish to do?
I would like to try and use my another identity to remove the knife from her hand metaphysically.
Okay.
$22 versus $31.
Is this a... Okay. Is this a ability that the new version of
No.
you... Okay. So...
Oh, actually, yes. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. The location moved, but yes, it is.
Okay. So this new version of you feels the tug on the knife as they go to grip it. They need to make a defense roll eventually. However, you are flashed back to a time where this ability did not go so well, and you paid a heavy cost for it. Tell us about that time.
Which one?
The new version of you.
When I first was in a new relationship with someone who became prominently useful. Tried to use this ability just to perhaps impress and charm, and ended up severely injuring myself, much to my own embarrassment.
Describe that moment.
I had started dating this woman named Nell, and she seemed to have interesting talents that correlated well with mine. So we were in her apartment one night. She was reading tarot cards, and I tried to do a little subtle manipulation. It ended in fire, a lot of burns. It healed fine eventually, but it was nasty and painful.
Who got burned?
I did. I knocked over a candle, and it set her tarot cards on fire.
As you feel those flames, I need you to roll.
$60 versus $50.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong identity. You need to roll basically the same identity that the other person attacked with.
Gotcha. 21 versus 31, which is one less. Exactly.
You can describe what this success looks like as you pull yourself out of it and regain control of your knife. Because you are literally flashed back to these moments as if you're physically there. You're beginning to see a pattern.
I want to recoil, and I want to let go of the knife. I feel the burning and the fire. It's the same hand, the same arm. I'm right-handed, and I almost drop it. My hand almost uncurls, but I grab it and hold on at the last second to keep it from slipping through my fingers.
Okay. It's almost like it naturally solidifies itself into your hand.
Like it knows it should be there because it's my knife.
Yes. That was a success. It is at that moment you feel a very strong connection to this wraith. Like it has parts of you in it, and it looks like you, only corpse, blackened shadow, ash and dust and oil. and bone. However, the ball is in your court as to what you want to do. Because you know now that this thing is assaulting you in a specific type of way. You know you now seeing the pattern and knowing the connection, you now see you can possibly do the same. How do you wish to proceed?
Does 2.0 have access to the same spells?
Yes.
If my Google Chrome will work, there we go. Okay, so then I'd like to use a spell then.
Okay.
I will send it to you.
Okay. Describe it. And roll.
I see this wraith and I see it as a distorted, wrong version of myself. It's trying to attack me and I want it to know what real power looks like. So I just hold out my hand and I let my hatred bloom across my face in a smile. And that fine, dark red mist comes from my fingertips, sharpens like spikes that shoot towards my target.
Roll.
$59 versus 50.
Okay. The other version of you has a chance to dodge this.
Do I roll dodge or do I
Dodge.
roll okay. That'd be a 24 versus 25.
So, describe how this plays out. And I will move the gridiron accordingly.
It's like it can see me coming. And of course, because it's me. But it's not the real me. But it moves just in time. Enough. A slide to the side, so confident and cocky. Enough to just barely miss my attack, but maybe a little bit of the edge of their essence got caught but did no real damage.
Actually, the edge of your essence wraps around those things that were shot out and absorbs them. And you see the tether, that thin red thread, grow slightly larger and more vivid. So it is the Wraith's turn.
I would like to use the same spell with everything I've got.
Okay.
I realize what she tried to do, and I want to give everything I can in just a massive all-out attack.
Is this a significant spell or a...
It's not.
Okay.
I don't have, no.
Proceed.
Okay. Eight versus 50.
As you extend the spell in the same way, something is different. The tendrils are like a black red, almost like a dead blood. And instead of them being spikes that fly through, they become cables that are connected to you. And you begin to drain the life out of this other you. As for the other you need to make an unnatural defense check. Unless you want to roll with your other identity, your adept identity. Whichever one is
That would be defending with knowledge.
Whichever one is higher.
Okay. This is higher. 37 versus 50.
You feel the life drain from you as you are plunged into a memory of a time when you used this power, this ability, and it didn't go well. You regret this moment. Tell us about this moment.
Time when I used it and it didn't go well. They said that I met them at a club that I'd never been to. We got in a fight in an alleyway outside a jazz club, and Nell was with me. We never did make it to that jazz club, but that stranger didn't make it out of the night alive, and explaining that to Nell was difficult. It would have been a moment I would have rather avoided, and I deeply did not enjoy it.
This is a secret inside yourself that you feel it's being drained away from you. Something you've tried to hold deep within you and not let anyone have. It is now being taken from you and ripped from your existence. Like something physical within your soul is being taken. It is now your turn. What do you wish to do as I move the gridiron? You see a very tilted battle before you as you assess the situation. You see that this second version of you is losing. You feel desperate.
I'm going to try and utilize my alternative skills and instill not the fear of God. That wouldn't be quite appropriate. But their own equivalent into them.
How do you wish to do that?
With this identity. 77 versus 30.
Okay. Okay, describe to me what you are doing.
So this identity,
You don't have to describe the
it
identity. Describe what you're doing.
okay. So I narrow my eyes and look at this wraith sharply and just searching for the secrets and the fears and the hate and what they just took from me. I'm trying to find their version of it and magnify it. But I can't find it.
Okay. The version of you that is a wraith can roll to defend this.
Okay.
This isn't
Six.
dodge.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. That's
Well,
all right.
unless you are physically moving away.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Wanted to make sure because that
No.
matters. So you can roll your magical identity or the equivalent that you think would defend appropriately.
Okay. She's attacking. Yeah, this would work. 71 versus 50.
Interesting. What was the previous attack? What was that number?
77 versus 30. And this is 71 versus 50. Could I potentially use my rage to flip those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's using what?
The Wraith would be using her rage, which would be her intelligence being insulted from the 2.0, calling her a failed version.
Okay.
So I'm going to flip that 71 to a 17 versus 50.
Okay. You successfully mentally guard those secrets inside your husk of an existence. It is now the Wraith's turn.
I want to double down and attack again with the same spell.
Okay. What works seems to work.
Mm.
Keep in mind, you will have a negative shift.
Okay.
Because you are doing the same thing twice.
Has 2.0's physical position changed at all? Like, she still has the knife and...
They've moved around and staggered a little bit. But the tendrils, the cables, these black oil and smoke and decayed ash, they're still connected and they're pulling and draining the life out of her. You see the skin becomes a little gray.
Then I don't want to attack again. Instead, I want to just try and focus everything I can on pulling as much as I can from her. As hard as I can.
How do you wish to do this?
I wanted to take her secret and I want to how would I destroy myself? Sorry.
It is no
I
easy
want to
feat.
try and search. Yeah, I want to try and search for her happiest moment and devour it.
Okay. What is this person's happiest moment? You can be very vague and brief.
It was in the before, and she didn't have very many happy moments, but she had an affectionate relationship with her mother, much more so than this Wraith version, and celebrating birthdays was important. I imagine that she has probably the bulk of what she would consider good memories are tied to celebrating childhood birthdays with her mother.
Okay. This is going to be an attack on the self.
Okay.
So,
Defend appropriately. I have an identity that substitutes for notice. Can I use that?
for defending yourself.
I would. Yeah, if you're attacking self, I defend with notice, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yep, and I have an identity that substitutes for notice. Can I use that?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
If it gives you a better roll, sure.
Yeah, it does. Marginally, but 77 versus 49. Don't know why it rolled twice. Didn't do that, but okay. Okay, good. It didn't. We're fine.
Okay.
Roll 20 was just being a butthead to me.
Is this the Wraith roll?
No, that
Okay.
was.
You have to roll to attack.
That
first.
was. Oh, okay. Gosh, sorry.
Okay, so that roll didn't count.
17 versus 50.
Oof. Okay.
And then now the 2.0 rolls to defend. 74 versus 49.
Tell us about that moment. As you're reliving it, you're watching it erode away.
It's just simple things like birthday cake and paper cups, and she always remembered what my favorite juice was. I can't even think of it now.
And now
What
you
kind-
don't remember. It's gone. As you watch it erode away from you, you're left back in the empty, staring at this creature draining your existence.
I want to try and run.
Okay.
I'm outmatched and terrified. I want to try and run.
What is your fear stimulus?
Not being able to control myself, my movement, or my location.
Okay, keep that in mind. You can roll fitness to get away. Where would you like to run? Into the deep? Where feels safe to you?
Nowhere. I just want to put distance enough between us that I can feel safe to rebuff an attack. But right now, I feel like they're too close. I need a
Okay.
moment of breathing room.
Your fitness will suffice, or anything that would substitute for it.
Okay. 46 versus 50.
Okay. You feel these black cables just snap away from you as you take off into the dark. And this creature screeches. The original wraith screeches as it feels the connection move back away, and the cables disconnect, and you just feel that distant tether somewhere in the dark. And I move the gridiron appropriately. That was a success. Now, Wraith, what do you wish to do?
Chase full speed, tendrils out, trying to grab.
Okay. So, pursuit.
$44 versus 25. Oof.
As you reach into the empty, flailing about, you feel your existence expand. Just the black oil and veins just stretch out in all directions. You feel desperate, and you feel alone. Do you feel isolated, or do you feel helpless?
Isolated.
You need to defend your isolation.
Connect. Oh, I have an identity that resists challenges to isolation. This is for the Wraith?
Yes.
18 versus 49.
Describe what it's like as you recollect yourself. You make no advancement here, but you do recollect yourself as the darkness itself begins to feel like acid burning your skin. You feel the fact that you are disconnected, still tethered, but disconnected from the way that you were just a moment ago, is beginning to erode. It's like you're running out of oxygen now. You begin to realize that your survival is dependent on feeding from this creature, this other you. And you realize this as the environment itself, the shadows begin to turn against you, as you are just as dark as they are, but they seem to become acid, and you begin to melt away. You desperately begin to focus and try to find this creature. It's the living version of you. What do they wish to do? By the way, you do gain charge from this.
Which one?
Significant.
Oh. The Wraith of the living version.
The living version.
Okay. In that case, the living version wants to do this.
Okay. You can roll. And you feel this tether as well to this creature. You know it is connected to you and still part of you, even though you are separated from it.
99 versus 50.
Okay. Again, you are in the dark, away from this creature. And you blast out at the screeches. You seem to not be able to locate it, as it is hidden from you, or you are hidden from it. Your focus is off. You've been assaulted in many different ways. The creature has the ability to defend.
Can I try and redirect?
The creature?
Can the creature try and redirect the blast?
At a cost.
I'm willing to pay it.
Okay. You can roll your magical identity.
$76 versus 31.
$76 versus 31. The cost you had to pay is you reveal yourself and it finds you. This blast sent out into the ether. It's almost like birds of prey whirling around you. And then when you get close enough, they descend into you. And more importantly, those things, they are connected to the living version. However, these are like large web-like veins and vapor, vivid like living blood. And they reach in to you. Now this blast, I said, came at a cost. One of the most terrifying things that destroys you. The sound you hear as you relive that pain. And you feel yourself covered in this gelatinous gore of the person you loved. You feel that being taken from you. You feel it being eroded away into the ether.
I want to try and grab onto it as hard as I can. So even if that's the only thing I can save.
You have a choice here. You can pursue the person you came here for, or you can attempt to hang on to that memory. You cannot do both.
Let go of the memory and pursue the person.
You watch it be eroded from you. And you begin to forget what made you. You begin to forget why it all matters. And I need you to make a helplessness check, because this is an attack on your helplessness.
$66 versus 55.
This is a significant failure. What does it look like as this wraith begins to panic and know that its existence is coming to an end?
Every tendril is undulating with the utmost fury, just like you would imagine a fish out of water, each one trying desperately, like a clenching muscle, to grip and grasp and feel something that just isn't there and it just can't hold on to. And the more I try to hold on, the more I can't dodge the question, why? Why hold on? Why was I holding on in the first place? Why not? What was so important that I needed to hold on for? And I can feel my grip slipping, and I don't want to let go. My gut instinct tells me to clench harder, so I do. But I feel like I can't. And I feel like I'm flickering.
Because you are reconnected to this entity, the living version of Eve. You feel everything this wraith is feeling in this moment. You have the ability to extract one aspect, one essence, one memory, one thing. What do you want that to be as you begin to roll over this creature's previous life and its tortured existence?
Why did it come to attack me? Was it just trying to find the most powerful one?
Okay. You can roll to see if you're successful in finding that answer.
Okay. What would I roll?
Your magical identity. You're connecting with magic here.
43 versus 50.
What is the answer that the wraith would give? as it's taken forcefully from them. Like limbs being ripped off a body, never to
I
return.
came for power. I came because if I don't try, somebody else will take it. We deserve it more than them. If there's going to be a power that ends it all, then I want to be it. And I thought you could get me there. That's what the Wraith says.
Okay. Knowing that, what do you wish to do, Eve? Living version.
Can I make an offer to the Wraith to accept its memories?
You can do that. What do you say?
You can't get there. Not like this. You're too weak. But I can get us there. Give me what you know, and our strength will get us there.
Roll connect.
$26 versus 30.
What does the Wraith do in this time of desperation as it knows this version is right? Does it try to subterfuge, or does it accept its fate?
There's a vicious, horrible sense of despair in the Wraith. And she doesn't want to accept her fate, but if anybody is right, it's herself. She's going to accept it and consider it becoming one with this version of herself.
Consider becoming one. Explain.
She knows that she won't exist anymore. She won't be able to make the conscious choices. But clearly this version of her is better prepared to handle things. So she's willing to hand off her information and her memories and believe in this better version of herself.
Describe to us the last moments of what Eve does to this Wraith and the last thing that the Wraith says as the memories are ripped out and absorbed.
Eve sighs at the Wraith. I take it this is probably the first iteration of herself to attack, but not the first supernatural occurrence. Far from the last. But certainly the strangest, and while Eve doesn't much care for human suffering or mind it, she has a little pang of pity and disgust for herself. So she wants to take every morsel, like a king at a feast sucking the marrow out of bones, just soaking herself and saturating herself in these memories. Mm, hateful and horrible ones are somehow the most delicious because they feel the most powerful. They feel like they fuel her. It's like getting a free turbocharge, or that Monopoly game when you were a kid. What was it? Paid some tax or got some reimbursement. A little freebie from the universe. Some information and some power at the cost of taking out some garbage. So the tendrils are just going to, as soon as she feels the wraith give in, the tendrils will encircle and descend completely and absorb everything they can. And the wraith doesn't say anything. She lets it happen.
Okay. In this moment, the wraith turns to ash, and we see the peacemaker make their way back to the bed to lay down and return to sleep. And we are going to switch scenes. Morven. Camera may have froze. You may have to back out and come back in. There we are.
Hello.
Morven, you are in darkness. And as what was similarly described, this expanse seems to be aware of you. And you begin to feel those memories just become all at once into your mind. You remember being killed. You remember agreeing to it. This was the thing that needed to happen. This was what you were supposed to do. This is your fate. And this expanse becomes keenly aware of you as it lights up and you see yourself move around. And you are a ethereal version of yourself, more like a wisp of very dull light. You can move your hands through your hands through your body, your hands through your face. None of these things seem to matter. However, what does matter is when you touch the environment, it responds. You see like a pulse of electricity and light. Like a soft wave, it rolls over this membrane looking cavern. The muscles come alive as you drift through. When you touch, you don't feel this acidic pain, this electric pain that was described before. It feels almost like a symbiosis, like it's part of you and you are part of it. And you begin to see the flashes of yourself and who you could have been, who you always were, what you always wanted to be, what you never wanted to be. These things wash over you, almost overwhelming. And as they pass through you, you are not assaulted with physical pain. You are assaulted with emotions as your mind begins to comprehend that you are somewhere in the never. This is the place that you get to see all the things you will never be. Welcome to the never. What do you wish to do? I believe you're frozen. You might. Oh, okay.
I have a sense of purpose, but not quite a sense of place. I get that this isn't so far an accident, or at least not an unwelcome one, but I still have no idea where or quite what I am. Can I
As,
make more sense of the situation?
you can roll knowledge, yes.
Which sheet?
Your first one.
Oof.
You begin to
39
realize.
versus 50.
You begin to realize you are dead.
Well, if
And
I'm
you
dead,
remember.
is this my brain?
You remember the conversation that you were being sent back.
Ah,
However, you were also given the knowledge that if you survived, you wouldn't remember. And you're plagued with the question of, how can I survive if I'm already dead? And when you do this, as your hands are tracing along this skin type muscle membrane of a cavern, and the lights flicker around you and pass over you, you realize you're part of everything you could have been, everything that exists now within time. You are outside of time, outside of yourself, but connected to all potential existences of yourself. And the only way to get anywhere is to be one of those things. One of these potential possibilities.
So,
You need to make a self check.
right, okay.
So you're going to defend your self meter.
Okay. Still the original one, yes.
Yes.
Can I use my artist ability for that?
If it substitutes for what you were supposed to defend with.
No, it is. Okay. Ooh, 38 versus 25.
You're not doing too well. You're beginning to feel lost. Like there's so many things that are better. Like you maybe don't deserve another chance. And then you see, as a flash of memories, as one of these membrane walls just pass through you. You find yourself assaulted with memories that aren't your own. You find a version of yourself that had a rough life. And just deserves better. What do you wish to do?
Well, I suppose, whether to my own detriment or otherwise, I might at least inspect this, know what I'm up against here, try and peer further into who exactly this is I'm looking at here.
As you place your hands back upon this wall in this cavern, you begin to see the life flash before you and blur at the same time. This second version of yourself places these cards appear on the wall. These cards would represent who this person is. You realize you have a connection here. What cards would be placed that would represent this version of you, this second version?
Oh, well, there's not a lot of security there. Although she likes to come off as being quite confident and secure enough herself, this is, ironically a cover-up, and I think that the tower would probably be a good representation of that.
The tower appears. Just
Secondly, not just one.
one card? Okay.
There's more to her than that. She's come from a tough life, but she's a person in and of herself still. She certainly seems to have a lot more chutzpah than I do. Strength. Yes.
Okay. When you see these cards placed upon the wall, like they're on the other side of the membrane, you begin to see cards placed face down on your side. And you see this opaque hand brush along the wall. Trace over the cards. What cards would represent this version of you, this first version?
This first version? Well, although she has her woes, she was certainly not dealt as harsh a blow, seemingly, as this other one. And she seems to be heading somewhere. I seem to be, I'm not sure. I feel a bit detached at this point in time, trying to analyze here. Mayhaps the fool, but reversed, maybe. Naive, trying their best, but blindly walking off a precipice.
Now, there are options here that you become aware of. You begin to realize that you can slice and send cards through. Or you can try to peel away the cards that are facing you. The cards that you send through would be parts of yourself. The cards that you rip away would be parts of that person. You know the only way to successfully survive and have another life is to take. Something inside you feels the need to take to survive. If you don't, this world, this cavern, will take it from you. But you can choose to give yourself to this person. And your knowledge, your memories. You peel back one of your own cards, just out of curiosity on what would be facing, and you see memories of yourself, memories of things you've done, places you've been, parts of the secrets you wish to hide, aspects of your personality you wish to be at the forefront and also wish to never be seen by the light of day. All of this is laid bare upon the canvas in front of you. And you are left with these choices. Do you wish to take, give, steal?
And these are my only options. She seems like quite a troubled being. Mayhaps she wouldn't mind
You
merging
know,
with someone who
You know that the more you give, the less you are. And you know that the more you take, the more of them you possess. You see them living their lives, but you know you could have that life if you wanted to take it. Or you could add to their life by losing yours. Or what's left of your existence.
She seems nice. She seems durable. She seems tired. If one were to flow into the other, I feel like I'd be at least far more mentally prepared to handle that, despite her outward bravado. With my mind and her strength. The other way around? Well, it wouldn't be my strength. I'm gone in a sense, but still, I feel it would be a less powerful combination. It's not quite about what she deserves at this point. Yeah, she maybe deserves more to carry on than I do, but if she wants to carry on, then she needs all the help she can get. It's not about deserve, it's about power.
Okay. As you're standing there contemplating this, what choice do you make?
Does she know I'm here? Can I say hello?
Roll connect.
$37V55.
Yes. He can hear you. She's on the other side of this membrane of a wall. What do you wish to say?
Seems cozy in there. Mind if I come in?
What would be that response?
Normally not too good about letting strangers into the house. I'm normally not too good about letting people I know into the house, because half of them are fuckholes.
In this moment,
It's not too cozy.
you realize that you're speaking to yourself. Or a different version of yourself. The second version realizes that it's another version of themselves.
Right. Some weird inception shit going on here. I don't like having an intruder in here. This is uncomfortable, even if it's me, but it's... Is it really? It's not me. it's me, but it's not me. So
That's the response you get.
distrust is understandable given what I know, I suppose, and what I've seen. Yeah. Well, in that case, I'm just not gonna ask. I'm gonna try and go through.
To be clear, are you trying to give what you are to this person? Or are you trying to take and overwhelm what this person is to make it your own?
I'll try and take, see where it gets me.
Very well.
I'd rather give than do nothing, but I'd rather take than give.
Very well. What is the first action you wish to do as you proceed? As these cards are on the wall.
I want to try and invade as much of the space as possible, not just send bits of myself through, but try and just slowly all creep in at once. If I myself, actual me form, can't go through, then I'll at the very least try and palm a lot of cards through at once. Just whatever's the biggest impact, even if it's slower.
You place your hand on the wall and the kaleidoscope of cards spread out like ripples in a pond. Roll your identity.
More
The,
magical
the tarot.
one. Original, yes.
The original, yes. Mm.
17v35.
You watch as the cards begin to bend their edges and just slip through and slice into this membrane. And you hear screams of pain on the other side as the ones that fall through onto your side seem to collect in a single, neatly stacked pile. A deck. As the deck slowly builds. Meanwhile, the other version of you, second version, sees this kaleidoscope of images, this assault of memories and past lives and pains and traumas and joy and desperation and envy and hunger and need. All of these senses rapidly overwhelm you and inflict physical pain as you're in this dreamscape. You are beginning to lose sense of who you are. What do you wish to do?
fucking stop it. Like, just try and block all this from coming through. I like myself quite a fair bit, thank you very much. And I'd rather keep myself that way.
You
Who
know
does she
parts
think
of
she
yourself
is?
are slipping away through the other side.
Yeah, no, if I want to try and stop her coming through, and I want to try and keep my own side of things. I want to pull them back towards me, whatever I can,
How do you wish to do
so she
this?
can't get them. I'm not so sure I can retrieve what was lost, but whatever's still there, I want to protect it. I want to take it down. I want to keep it close, get it off that wall and beside
You,
me.
you might be able to retrieve. It's up to you. How do you wish to proceed?
I'd rather save what's there first. I feel like retrieving will be more difficult. I don't want to lose anything more in the process.
You get one action. So you wish to stop what's going through, or do you wish to just see what you lost?
I mean, if I can, I'd rather stop what's left of me from growing.
Okay.
If she's going to try and take any more, I want to prevent that from happening. Full stop.
Okay. In what form would you like to manifest this prevention?
Mentioned kaleidoscopes of memories, tarot cards, visions, and all that sort of thing on through this sort of wall, right?
Yes, it's like the faces of the cards are projecting movies.
Well, I'm gonna
And they're
pick out the
slicing
most important ones.
they're slicing into you as they fall through.
Are my own ones up there, or is it simply hers coming through?
Yours were up there, but they're being like taken and slipped away by the other cards. They're sliding away, like they're being stolen.
Yeah. Well, in that case, then I'm gonna look for my own, prioritizing most important to least. Looking for the core memories of myself and taking
All
them
right.
out the wall so they can be in my hand.
Okay, you're going to hide them away. You need to roll secrecy. Or your tarot identity, whichever one you wish to roll.
Oh no, 99. Yeah, okay.
When you place your hand upon the wall, all of who you are spills out into the canvas like ripples into a pond. Same way these cards are manifested.
Am I okay to use my obsession here?
Okay.
Does it fall in?
What is your obsession?
Self-reliance.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, do I get to re-roll or?
Yes. Yes, you can use that for a reroll. Normally you could flop the roll, but same number.
No, I can't do that. 25 v 35.
Much better.
Fuck you.
You realize within this display of everything you are, you allow the cards of who you are, the important ones, to slip away and be protected by everything else of who you are. It's almost like a distraction that allows you to hide who you are. And it does create this barrier of this invasion. On the other side, what do you wish to do?
Whatever I seemed to do last time worked. If I can do so, do it again.
Keep in mind, if you do the same thing twice, you will have a negative shift to your roll.
Well, yeah, she'll be wise to it now, I suppose. In that case, I suppose I'm gonna try and take a look at what she's doing, what she's thinking, what her strategy is, so that I can best work around.
Do you have
See if I can
anything that
learn
substitutes
how
for
best to
notice?
strike them. There's my artist identity.
Yes. Whichever is higher. You may roll.
Oh, 32 v25.
Would any passions come into play?
I do have an obsession for creating profiles on people.
You can flop that number to a 23.
I shall do so.
As you do so, you begin to see all of her cards and all of her life, and you begin to almost rapidly organize who this person is and take note of every card. You begin to see all of these things, and you begin to see bits and pieces that are missing, that have been stealed away and hidden behind the canvas and kaleidoscope of their life.
Well, yeah. She's another version of me in that we are both fairly intelligent. She knows what she's doing.
Okay.
Not to flatter myself.
On your next action. On the other side, now that you've hidden parts of yourself away, what do you wish to do?
Am I aware of the other side's observations? No. In that case, then, if I repeat an action, it's with a disadvantage. Well, I'm going to try to get to know my enemy. I'm going to peek over on her side and see what she's up to and who she is.
Same roll. Either
I don't really have an identity on my side of things that covers it, I think.
anything related to notice. So it could be your card identity. It can be
Yeah, there's
your notice.
that.
Whichever is higher.
Yeah. I think, yeah. $66 v 45. I've used my obsession already.
Are any of your other passions relevant to this moment, as your life is displayed to be seen?
I mean, my noble for protecting the innocent only really comes in if myself is innocent, and I don't really deem myself to be honest. I don't deem myself as being a black person, but innocent? Haha, so I don't think so.
Fear, rage, nothing? Okay. Then this is a significant...
Or at least I don't save those.
This is a significant failure. In your attempt to see, to peer through, you open up parts of the membrane and more cards spill through, slice into you. Do you wish to endure them, or do you wish to avoid them? Both have different consequences.
Well, I've taken it like a good girl in the past, and it's worked for me so far, so I'll just grin and bear it, I guess. I ain't no pussy.
Fitness.
Can I roll my identity that substitutes for that?
Yeah.
Oh no, 68 v20.
You grin and bear it, and it's terrible. You see some of the worst memories flood into your mind of this original version of yourself. Morven, what are those memories?
I mean, the house we lived in, it was a messy heap, to put it very lightly. And there was, for a great stint of my life, that we were constantly dealing with invasions from nature. Maggots, slugs, spiders, wasps, rats. Oh god, the rats.
The second
When they
version
came in,
of Morven
yeah.
is living in this world right now. They're experiencing this firsthand.
Oh, it's not just the idea of having rats in your house. It's when they aren't there, it's that you can't see them and you can't find them, but you can hear them. And they leave their little droppings everywhere, in your food, in your bathroom supplies. Can't go to the toilet without seeing someone or has already been there. No one you know, no one you've seen, no one human. You don't feel clean anywhere in the house because you feel like you stepped on something, or that you stepped where something's peed. We didn't have any pets. Well, except for the dog. He was useless in that regard. Mother didn't like the dog. And always at night you'd hear scrambling in the walls and the ceilings and in the floors. Constant, just tipper-topper. Here I am, keeping you awake at night. Did they ever have the decency to show their faces? No, not till the exterminator came round. God, did we take our time about getting him in.
Second Morven sees this swarm of vermin and maggots and cockroaches spill onto them through the membrane. Like dam is about to burst. And they crawl. They tickle the skin. Some bite. Some draw blood. They come up along the neck and the face. Touch the eyes. Into the mouth. They get under the clothes. Second Morven, what do you wish to do?
Well, that's fucking awful. I try to get them all off of me and make it stop. Just wherever they're coming from, just plug it over. Just no. I refuse.
You can get them off of you, or you can stop the flow. Which do you wish to do?
Get them off of me.
Okay. Roll dodge.
Oh, 82 versus 40.
As you get them off of you, more pour in. The gridiron moves. First, Morven, what do you wish to do? As you realize you are flooding this version of yourself with the worst parts of who you are in your life. The things you hate most. You see everything pour through. And there's a little hole that you can see face to face through. And you see them covered in all of this. And you watched as all of these things pour through into the membrane from the cards, from yourself. You realize that you are doing this. You are afflicting this creature. And as these little tiny cockroaches and maggots and mice assault this second Morven, they take little bites, little explorations, and you feel you're absorbing just a little bit of who that person is. You're draining them. Part of that manifestation is feeding you. And you're pulling parts of them away into yourself. What do you wish to do?
Rather them than I, although I do feel bad for the poor soul. I've never liked the idea of being nasty to anyone. I've always been calm, polite, timid.
This is a violation of every respect to another human being. You are now consuming them through vermin.
Indeed. Here I am. The gloves are off. It isn't about whether I offend someone anymore. It's not about whether I think friendship is the way anymore. This is a literal life or death situation. I'm already 1 foot in the grave. Maybe both.
Definitely both. So, what do you wish to do? How would you like to proceed?
Well, I didn't enact that upon them. It is from me, but they brought it upon themselves, so to speak. I didn't quite deliberately choose to do that. But it seems to be working. So now that I know that it's happening, I suppose I'll just onto it.
Okay. Roll pursuit.
On them for being silly. $29v35.
Okay. As the flow of this atrocity, this violation of humanity to another human being, begins to cover and drown them, what does Morven, second version, wish to do? Because now they begin to feel panic and desperate and start to lose a sense of who they are. And they know that they feel they're going to die in this moment if they don't do something.
Yeah. Right. Fuck it. Well, obviously, trying to get them off me doesn't quite work.
You
I had to
begin
fuck my
to
bust.
you begin to sense the symbolism here and how things are operating. You realize that things are being manifested in this type of astral manifestation, as it were, that you might feel. Those labels feel relevant to you, but you can begin to see that you can manifest what you wish to manifest back onto the other person in the same similar horror.
One of the few core things, maybe one of the things that I hid away earlier, that I have to cling on to. I'm not just hiding in for me. From what I've seen, and, do pardon me if I wouldn't know this, but in her timeline of things, Lorna's gone. She won't get it. Just because my sister's disappeared doesn't mean she's dead. Doesn't mean she was magically poofed away and stabbed to death by some crazy ritualistic mum. I still have my sister to find. She doesn't. She's just bandying along the ride with her pals.
So you defend and assault her with family that she never had.
Yeah. Seeing as she's, being a bit of a bitch back so far.
Okay. Original Morven, this is going to be an attack on your yourself. And you can defend appropriately, but second, Morven, I want to know how this manifests. How do you assault them with this? What does this look like?
Lorna's there, as full in flesh and bone as I can manifest her to be since the last day I saw her. Slightly older, so that she gets a sense of having missed out on that development, those extra few years together, Why did you let me die, big sister? Mom, kill me? It's all your fault. You had to be at fucking band practice. That kind of thing. Just stab it real deep, twist the knife. Put a bit of lemon juice on that one. Go on.
Okay. This version of your sister begins to bat away and rip open the hole that is punched through this membrane and all these kaleidoscope of cards surrounding it, and begin to verbally assault the original Morven. And this is significant for you. It catches you by surprise. This is going to be an attack on yourself. You can roll to defend appropriately, whatever you need to roll for that. It's on your sheet.
Ah, 65 versus 25. Would I be able to bring my rage into this at all?
What is your rage?
Abuse, especially towards children.
And is this first, Morven?
Yes. Although I think both share.
Okay. This would not apply because she is fine. She's strong. She's manifesting as you are the abuser right now. And that passion won't play. Do you have another one you would like to suggest?
Not one that I think would apply, no.
This takes you by surprise and you lose concentration as you watch the cards slip away and this environment you're standing in turn against you and begin to feel like acid. And you feel your body begin to burn and melt as you see the horrible person you are. What you are doing is assaulting and stealing another person's life. And you see almost like a mirror looking at the other Morven by standing behind her, just covered in these maggots. Then you begin to remember what that feels like. All these creatures, these cockroaches, these rats. And they begin to flow back in the other direction. Like suddenly they stopped and they're retreating back to you. And they swarm around you. And what was once a manifestation of your strength has now turned against you and begin eating you. What do you wish to do?
No. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. No. Can I just stop that? Yeah. Just stop them from coming through anymore. No more.
The hole is too wide. You have one action left. Before you are completely enveloped.
Fine. I mean, can I try and cover it? If not with myself, then can I command the cards or something? Just any way of stopping it.
Both are two different things. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere near that. I'm going to back up a bit and see if I can just find a way to close off the hole in the wall. With the cards or rolling the wall itself, I don't know how much control I have over that.
What part of yourself do you wish to use to close off the wall?
I mean,
your memory, part of who you are. What do you wish to cover it with?
Yeah. Memories.
Okay.
Maybe if I can prioritize the ones of the infestations themselves. If they eat through those, then that's not too much of a loss to me. But I'd know the instant and the moment beggars can't be choosers.
Which memories? Say again.
The ones of the infestations themselves.
Interesting. Roll your tarot. You're manipulating the cards.
$78 versus 35. Can I use my fear here? Well, actually, yeah. Can I use my fear here?
Yeah, it applies.
Yeah. I have used it for the other one, but not for me.
Okay.
So I would reroll.
Yep.
Four. Woo.
Okay. So, what do you wish to happen? Whatever you decide will come at a cost.
If I can, but again, in the heat of the moment, beggars can't be choosers. Just drawing in the weak, the vulgar, the unnecessary, or at least what I deem unnecessary memories to just flood in and plug the hole. Keeping my core ones out of the way if I can, at least leaving them where they are.
Very well. Cards manipulate and the flow stops. Closes off the other woman and seals shut the membrane. You no longer have access. And you are left with the rot and vermin at your feet as they begin to slowly consume you. And every part of who you are begins to absorb back into this cave. Sometimes we never know who we truly are until we are faced with the horrors of what we've been through and what it has turned us into. And in that moment, the struggle to inflict what we've become on someone else is the strongest temperament of one's character. Thank you for watching.